Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Look at this incredible view. There's something about the vastness of the ocean that really puts things into perspective, especially when you're diving into a new, complex subject. And that's exactly what we're doing today. I've been getting a ton of questions about how to get started with options trading, and honestly, it can feel as big and intimidating as this ocean right here. Where do you even begin? That's why I picked up this book. Options Trading Simplified for Beginners by Woodley Funtanilla. I wanted to see if it lives up to its name and can really break down this complicated topic for someone just starting out. So for the next few minutes, grab a coffee, relax, and let's explore the key takeaways from this book together. We'll see if it can provide us with a solid map to navigate the sometimes choppy waters of the stock market. First things first. What I immediately appreciated about this book is its focus on the absolute fundamentals. Funtanilla doesn't just throw jargon at you and expect you to keep up. He starts with the very core question, what is an option? And he explains it beautifully. Think of it like this. An option is not the stock itself, but a contract that gives you the right, but not the obligation to buy or sell a stock at a specific price on or before a certain date. Let's break that down with a real-world example, just like the book does. Now, two things can happen. If the neighborhood booms and the house's value shoots up to $600,000, your option is golden. You can exercise it, buy the house for the agreed-upon $500,000, and you've instantly made a huge potential profit. On the other hand, if the market goes down and the house is now worth only $450,000, you wouldn't want to buy it for the higher price. So, you just let the option expire. What have you lost? Just the $5,000 fee you paid for the contract. You weren't obligated to buy the house. That's the power of options in a nutshell. Controlled risk for potentially high reward. The book uses similar, easy-to-understand analogies that make the concept click. The next major section of the book dives into the two basic types of options, calls and puts. This is the bread and butter of options trading, and the author makes it super clear. A call option is what we just talked about in our house example. It gives you the right to buy a stock at a set price. You'd buy a call if you believe the stock's price is going to go up. Think of it as calling the stock to you. Conversely, a put option gives you the right to sell a stock at a set price. You'd buy a put if you believe the stock's price is going to go down. This is a fantastic way to potentially profit from a declining market or to protect your existing portfolio. Imagine you own 100 shares of a company, but you're worried about an upcoming earnings report. You could buy a put option as a form of insurance. If the stock price drops, the profit from your put option can help offset the loss on your shares. The book really hammers home this dual nature of calls for bullish outlooks and puts for bearish ones. Now, learning about calls and puts is one thing, but knowing how to read an options chain is another. This is where many beginners get completely lost. An options chain is that big table of numbers you see on your brokerage platform with all the different strike prices and expiration dates. Funtanilla's book dedicates a whole chapter to demystifying this, and it was a game changer for me. He explains each column step by step. The strike price is the price at which you agree to buy or sell the stock. The expiration date is the deadline for your contract. Then you have the bid and ask prices, which determine the cost of the option itself, also known as the premium. He explains concepts like in the money, at the money, and out of the money, which sound complex but are actually simple. An option is in the money if it has intrinsic value. For example, a call option to buy a stock at $50 when it's currently trading at $55. The book provides clear visuals and examples, turning that scary table of numbers into a tool you can actually use to find opportunities. One of the most important themes that Funtanilla emphasizes throughout the book is risk management. This is absolutely critical. He repeatedly warns against the get-rich-quick mentality that lures so many people into trouble. Options trading involves leverage, which means your gains can be magnified, but so can your losses. You could lose your entire investment in an option, that premium we talked about. The book lays out simple but powerful rules. First, only trade with money you can afford to lose. This isn't your emergency fund or your retirement savings. Second, start small. You don't need to risk thousands of dollars on your first trade. Buy a single contract to understand the process and get a feel for how the prices move. Third, have a plan. Know your entry point, your profit target, and most importantly, your exit point if the trade goes against you. He stresses the importance of using stop-loss orders to protect your capital. This focus on a defensive, disciplined mindset is probably the most valuable lesson in the entire book. The final key takeaway I want to share is the introduction to basic strategies. The book doesn't overwhelm you with dozens of complex, multi-leg strategies like iron condors or butterflies. Instead, it sticks to the basics for beginners. The two primary strategies discussed are buying calls and buying puts, which we've already covered. This is the simplest way to get started. It also introduces the concept of covered calls. This is a more conservative strategy for people who already own at least 100 shares of a stock. Essentially, you sell a call option against your shares. In doing so, you collect a premium, which is instant income in your pocket. If the stock price stays below the strike price, you keep the premium and your shares. It's a great way to generate some extra cash flow from your existing holdings. By focusing on just these few foundational strategies, the book gives you a solid launchpad without causing analysis paralysis. You can build from here once you're comfortable. So, what's my final verdict on Options Trading Simplified for Beginners? I have to say, it really delivers on its promise. Woodley Funtanilla has done an excellent job of taking a subject that can feel like rocket science and grounding it in simple, relatable terms. The analogies are great, the step-by-step explanations of the options chain are clear, and the relentless focus on risk management is exactly what a beginner needs to hear. If you're standing on the shore, looking out at the ocean of options trading and feeling completely overwhelmed, this book is like a friendly, experienced guide offering you a life jacket and a simple map to the first island. It won't make you a master trader overnight, nothing will, but it will give you the confidence and the foundational knowledge to take those first crucial steps safely and intelligently. I highly recommend it as a starting point. Thank you so much for joining me today and taking in this beautiful view with me. I hope this review was helpful. If you've read this book or have other beginner resources you love, please share them in the comments below. Let's help each other learn and grow. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Until next time, trade safe and keep learning.